grew up here. I moved away for a long time, but I'm back. It's a German city. It's quite a conservative city, but there's a lot going on around the edges that's progressive. What about culture in Cincinnati? I feel like it's pretty rich compared to other Midwest cities. There's a lot going on in the arts here. How does this city inspire?
This is a really kind of a trippy and fantastical take on the traditional travel show. I said that Rick Steves is now a hipster millennial, and it really takes you through a city in a much more raw, authentic, and kind of like an artfully sporadic way, but amazing visuals. I was constantly wondering what was going to come next.
I really like the passion he talks about hip hop, which is his art, and how he went into this work of talking about his city that was in his city for a long time, but he's rediscovering it, and it was passionate and it was insightful, and I liked it.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was, to me, the true sense of a documentary. We were seeing someone's perspective fully, hearing from interviews and the questions they asked people that were truly important to them. I felt like I got a good sense of Yoni. And one of the ways I did was because of the animations. It was so smooth yet fun, conveyed the right message when it went from Yoni into the animations very smoothly of the wolf. Loved that. And it was just a fantastic wonderland overall, with the cartoon combined with facts, combined with sort of a travel documentary or review. It's exceptional. Great storytelling.
I viewed it as like almost like a love letter to Cincinnati itself and the art community there, and how far they've come, and the parts that they still needed to, like as a city, still needed to progress and grow through. And I think that a lot of the time when documentaries are made about a city or about a place, they often highlight the progress that's been made, but not so much the progress that still needs to be made. So the fact that both were showcased, I think, was really excellent, and it was just a very honest kind of snapshot. But I absolutely loved the amount of shots that he had and the amount of footage that he had to work with. I think it was like phenomenal that it was so many different types of art and so many different, like even like culinary arts, which is, you know, not something that most people think of when they think of art. They don't typically think of that in the first like even 5 or 6 different ways that you can make art. So I thought that him really taking the time to sit with people.
The way he rediscovers his hometown from the past to the present, also through the testimonies of its citizens, I found it very particular and original. I found the atmosphere a mixture between disturbing and pressing, and is an impression I had through the use of sounds, which were applied also on voices through the whole documentary. And I appreciate the variety of the artists that were brought and the variety of musical genres they made and their testimony integration of their songs. The same for other artists that were showing their creation of various kind. The visual concept is fresh, it's modern, it's vintage, it's a mix of many eras that works really well.
This one's really cool. The documentary filmmaker himself explores the city of Cincinnati and what's cool there, what's hip happening, what's different, what's changed in the last several years, how they're dealing with gentrification, how the arts evolve there, the kinds of scenes that are around. And it's gritty, it's cool, it's stylized, it's very informative. I learned plenty about Cincinnati that I just did not know, and even touches on racism there in the city, just everything that I guess sort of like an artist kind of person would want to know. But even someone who's not interested in the arts, I think, will have a lot to learn about Cincinnati and even just about social dynamics in general.
I love the title of the film, The Wandering Wolf. I just love it, and I think it was a good film. It was fun to watch, very fun to watch. I love the editing style, the filming style. I love the visuals. It was great to watch, and it was a great way to project the beautiful artistic city of Cincinnati.
I did appreciate this one a lot. I love this one because it told a story about the city of Cincinnati. It made me interested about Cincinnati. It made me want to take a visit just to see what's going on, like music. And I love everything about art. And this was what it was about. It showed I like the editing. The editing was off the chain. And I think this was the best editing out of all the videos that I've seen. That whoever put this together did that.
If the aim was to make Cincinnati an intriguing place to go and visit and explore, I thought it achieved it rather well. I felt it benefited greatly from dividing the film into chapters, let's say. So there was a music chapter, an art chapter, a food chapter, a community chapter, and I think that helped make it digestible for the viewer, each little episode within the whole arc of the film. I especially liked the diversity of people interviewed, genders, and racially wise, just sort of, and sexual orientation, I guess, as well. But it was a diversity of genders. Loved the animation. I thought the animation was very clever.
So this one definitely had a really cool sense of originality. I liked the cinematography right off the bat, some really interesting camera angles and shots. You guys must have had a really talented DOP. And I really liked the use of the original animation. That was really interesting and cute. It was definitely very quirky, and I really liked some of the stylistic choices.
The energy and believe that they can make it within their own cities and not have to move to LA or New York or Atlanta, which a lot of artists do. But yeah, I love the documentary overall, and the cool wolf animation too. That was cool.
It was interesting. I liked in the beginning when they said Cincinnati is a place where the North and South meet, and how things are kind of complicated there because you have different cultures. You have city culture, you have suburban culture, you have rural culture not far away. A lot of people look at that city is like flyover country, so it doesn't get a whole lot of press and publicity. So when they were talking about the chefs being able to open a restaurant, it's a lot cheaper to open a restaurant there than some of the bigger cities. That's something I've seen in other cities as well. I think it would be really fascinating if they went back to Cincinnati in a year or so to see how this, the coronavirus pandemic has affected all of these people in their lives and their careers and their passions. So I think you did a great job on this, and I'd like to see a follow-up if possible.
Wow, that was a trip. It was amazing, from the sounds to the music to the visuals, almost graffiti-like. I love that he included a diverse cast of characters of Cincinnati in the music, in the art scene, in the culinary scene. It was so beautiful to see. It was great that he also featured a lot of the problems that are also in Cincinnati and the sort of segregation that still exists. I think this doc was amazing. It hit all points. I'm very intrigued. The pace of it was very intriguing. I found his sensibility to difficult topics as an interviewer was held really well. I just think I want to go to Cincinnati. Anyways, great doc. I wanted more. This would be great as a docu-series. I feel like to even explore all the different aspects, like music, art, community, that can take into an amazing docu-series, and I'm in. I want more. Thank you. That was amazing.